Hello and welcome to this week's video. Today I want to talk about one of the biggest mistakes painters make when working from photographs. Treating the reference photo as something to be copied rather than interpreted. A camera can record information, but it can't make artistic decisions about value, colour, temperature or focal point. As painters we can. In this video, I'll show you how I use value manipulation, colour hierarchy, temperature shifts and complementary colours to create a painting that is stronger and more impactful than the reference photo itself. Let's jump straight in. Number 1, why your painting should be better than your reference photo. Your finished painting should always be better than your reference photo, more impactful, more alive, more considered. And I think this is something that a lot of painters lose sight of, particularly when you are doing commissions, where there is a pressure to reproduce what the client has given you as accurately as possible. A reference photo is just a starting point, a moment in time, and unless you are a very skillful photographer, cameras are actually quite bad at capturing what makes a subject beautiful and interesting. A camera flattens values, it struggles with subtle temperature shifts, it can't make intentional decisions about what is important and what isn't. You as a painter can do something the camera cannot. You can look at that reference photo and ask yourself, what is important here and how do I enhance that? Every single tool you have as a painter, your understanding of value, temperature, colour relationships, complementaries, your knowledge of paints, all of those things exist to help you go beyond what the camera captured. Number 2, understanding value and contrast. Value is the lightness or darkness of a colour, and it is the most powerful tool you have for creating impact, drama, and focal point in a painting. The problem with reference photos is that they record values with equal weight across the whole image. The camera doesn't know that the dog's face is more important than the background, so it gives both the same level of value information. If I show you my reference photo, you'll notice straight away I have changed it. I have painted straight over the background in Photoshop. You can use Procreate if you prefer. This gives me a starting point. If I turn my reference photo and finish painting into black and white, you will notice that I have slightly manipulated the values on my dog's face to make it a little darker. This is so I have a stronger shape against my lighter background. This is called value manipulation, and it is one of the most powerful things you can do to make a painting more impactful than its reference photo. Number 3, understanding your paint hierarchy. Every paint on your palette has a personality, a specific combination of transparency, temperature, intensity, and strength. And understanding those properties is what gives you real control over your mixes. I call this paint hierarchy. Knowing where every colour on your palette sits in terms of its power and behaviour, and using that knowledge to make better mixing decisions. The best way to illustrate this is with yellow, because yellow is the colour where these differences are most obvious and most impactful. I use 3 yellows on my palette: transparent yellow oxide, yellow ochre light and cadmium yellow light. To a beginner, these might look like 3 similar yellows, but they behave completely differently in a mix. I reserved my cadmium yellow light for this area on the face. Cadmium yellow is opaque, as is my white. When mixed with a little cadmium red, it gives me a really strong punchy colour because my cadmium colours are the strongest on my palette. In my background, I use yellows that are softer when mixed with white. Using the right yellow gives me a strong focal point, and this principle applies to every colour on your palette, not just yellow. Get to know your paints individually, test them, mix them, understand what each one does and why. That knowledge is what separates a painter who is in control of their colour from one who is constantly surprised by it. Number 4, temperature, warm against cool. Temperature is something I talk about a lot in my videos, and this is because it is one of the most powerful tools a painter has. A reference photo often will not show you temperature, especially in the light and dark areas. The fundamental principle is simple. Warm colours and cool colours placed next to each other create energy and vibration in a painting. That visual tension between warm and cool is what makes a painting feel alive. Neutral browns and greys in a reference photo can be a nightmare to work with because grey can default naturally cool if you use only black and white, and brown can default warm if you use something straight from a tube. Relying on these will not give you the temperature shifts necessary to create form in your painting. Looking at my painting, we have cool, warm, warm, cool, and a combination of warm and cool in this bottom area. I always place a warm next to a cool, and this helps my colours to pop. A photo cannot do this. Number 5, working with complementaries. A reference photo might have a complementary relationship in it already. War firm against a cool background, a red collar against green grass. But the camera records these relationships with the same indifference it records everything else. Your job as a painter is to look for these complementary relationships in your reference and then enhance them deliberately. Push the colours further apart. Make the contrast more intentional. Use it to direct the eye to where you want it to go. Working with complementary colours will really help you with your warm and cool palette. Remember, if you mix complementary colours together, it will give you brown. If you then add white, this will give you grey. This is the best way to get colourful neutrals. If you want more information on colour mixing, have a look at these 2 videos on my channel. Here I have worked with red and green and blue and orange. Looking at my palette briefly, I have mixed up a very dark green from a black red and a black green, and then added cadmium yellow light. This gives me a slightly khaki colour you can see here. Laid against my black red, this helps my colours to pop. I have also mixed up a blue-grey. This is blue plus this orange plus white, and it gives me this colour. This then laid against this orange helps my blue-grey to pop. Number 6, why a rich black beats ivory black every time. I don't use black in this painting because ivory black leans towards blue, so it is cool. When I add white to black, this again gives me a cool grey mix. I would therefore have a grey dog with no warm, cool colour shifts. A predominantly cool painting will give me a flat, chalky effect. It is the temperature shifts that help create form. If I work with complementary colours, that will automatically give me my cool, warm shift. Here I use a black red and a black green. You'll notice in my dark areas, this is really useful. See how those legs pop against that cool grey? All these darks have different colours in them. Here it is predominantly a red. Here it is more of this green. Here it is more of this cadmium yellow light. If you think of your colour wheel hierarchy, red is our warmest colour, then yellow, then green. From using this hierarchy, I have managed to make my legs more prominent than this area, and then both of these areas more prominent than my background. A photograph cannot do this. Understanding colour and how it works is everything in painting. Number 7, putting it all together, the painting as a whole. It is important to note that none of these decisions happened in isolation. They are all working simultaneously and in relationship with each other across the whole painting. Every decision is connected to the one before it. This is what makes painting genuinely challenging and genuinely rewarding. So next time you sit down with a reference photo, remember, it is your starting point, not your destination. Your job is to take it somewhere the camera never could. If you would like to come and paint with me in oils, join my workshop on the 3rd of July. You'll find the link in the description below. There are also more details of lesson opportunities on my website, sarahhallidayart.com. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss future painting tips. Thank you for watching and see you next week.